Hey everybody, so this is going to be my how to style curly hair. Obviously my hair, I wouldn't say it's curly, it's got a wave to it for sure. This technique that I'm going to show you guys, I actually learned through the Diva Curl system, so this is what has been working for me as far as styling curly clients. So yeah, this lady looks pretty rough. This is my Diva Curl mannequin. She has been cut several times, but I do like to have her for curly styling videos. So this is what works for clients. And then also too, if you have naturally textured hair yourself, then I definitely would recommend doing this. It's really important that we learn how to style curly clients, just because like we've talked about before, it is very hard for people with textured hair to find a stylist who will properly take care of it and show them as well how to style it, because that's also part of our job, is to make sure that our clients know how to style their hair when they go home. So some important things about shampooing curly hair, and honestly shampooing hair in general, but with shampooing, the first thing that's so important with any client, whether they have straight or curly hair, is when you are putting the shampoo in their hair, you want to make sure that you're focusing mostly on the roots. There's no need when you're shampooing a client to run it through the ends completely, just because that area tends to be more dry. And then also too, when you're like rinsing the shampoo out, those suds kind of, you know, slip through the hair anyway. So any remaining dirt that may be on the ends of their hair will just kind of, they'll grab onto those little suds as they're being rinsed out. And that, yeah, so that kind of goes for anybody being shampooed. And then also too, very important when you are conditioning your clients, that you're mainly focusing the conditioner on the ends, because it's kind of the opposite. So we have oils that naturally produce at the scalp, right? So right, you know, maybe like the first 1.5 inches away from the root can get fairly greasy, and then their ends get more dry. So that's why we're not putting conditioner at the root. The conditioner is for the ends. So curly hair clients really, they only need to shampoo their, I mean, depending on how curly their hair is, they really can go a while without having to shampoo their hair. So I would say for a typical client who maybe has straight hair or very like loose waves, they could probably get away with shampooing their hair every 2 days or something. Whereas curly hair clients can go probably like once a week. And if their hair is extremely curly, they can go once a month. So another option that we can offer our curly hair clients, especially when we're selling retail, because that's extremely important, we can offer them a, I believe they're called cleansing conditioners. Biolage has a really good one, and then Redken used to have one that I used in the past. I don't know if they still carry it, but Biolage definitely has a good one. And all it is a conditioner that has surfactants in it. So if you guys remember, surfactants are the actual molecules that remove the dirt from the scalp, right? So conditioners, what they do is they're cleaning the hair, but they're also keeping it moisturized. So you'll hear a lot of curly girls, they have a method. So you'll hear a lot of curly girls actually have a method where they'll get their hair wet, but they won't shampoo it. They only condition it, because the way the curly hair is shaped, the oils have a hard time kind of traveling down the different curls, whereas with straight hair, think of it as like a slide. Like it just goes straight down, it slips right down super quick, and that's why straight hair clients tend to feel like they get greasy quicker. And people with curly hair can go a while. I probably myself, I don't have extremely curly hair, but I would say I can definitely go at least 4 days without ever having to shampoo it. And like I said, depending on the actual, like, you know, how coarse the hair is, how how dense it is, they can definitely go a good bit. So it's very important too that we're selling proper retail to our curly clients, that they're able to just moisturize their curls. I had a friend who had curly hair, and the biggest thing she used to always tell me with curly hair is that the reason that curls aren't doing what they're supposed to is because they're lacking hydration. And I would even add to that proper product. I never knew my hair had this texture, honestly, until I started properly styling it, which is the way I'll show you guys how to style it. But also too, I was just really frying my hair and I wasn't using the proper moisturizing products. I will say though that the Diva Curl products are not very stripping to the hair, which is fine because like I talked about, curly hair needs that moisture. However, I do think that occasionally it's important that we're doing a proper cleansing of the scalp, because sometimes what happens if the hair gets too oily, the follicles get kind of blocked up, and that's a reason that could cause hair loss. So it's important that curly hair clients do like a clarifying cleanse, I would say at least once a month, just to really make sure their scalp is clean and that any like, you know, dirt that might have built up that their normal shampoo can't reach, they're at least removing that once a week and getting kind of like a fresh start, right? So obviously I don't have a salon shampoo bowl to demo this for you guys, so I'm going to be trying to do my best showing you how to do it in my bathtub. One thing that I have found, especially with myself and styling my own hair, that really makes a huge difference is my microfiber towel. It's a little wet because I did use it this morning. My microfiber towel, this is actually Diva Curls, but I do honestly think you can go to Walmart and get one. These are awesome. However, before I had a microfiber towel, I used to actually use a t-shirt. So the reason that you want to use a microfiber towel or a t-shirt is because regular towels that we might use in the salon, so if you look at your hand towel or the towels that you might be drying your client's hair with at the salon, it has like a bunch of little like fibers coming out, I guess. And when people take that on their hair, this material is just a little bit rough and a little bit too drying on the cuticle, especially when people like go like this, which you shouldn't be doing with any clients anyway. It actually creates friction on the cuticle and causes the hair to be more dry looking and more frizzy. So microfiber, I don't know if you can see, it does still have those little fibers sticking out, but they're super tiny compared to the ones on here. Do you kind of see the difference? They're a little bit more coarse on this one, and this one they're a little bit more fine. So like I was saying earlier, you want to use a more hydrating shampoo and conditioner on your curly clients. It doesn't have to be Diva Curl, it can be whatever curly brand you guys have at your salon or at home. Clients, as far as the temperature of water to use, you don't have to use frigid cold water. And this was with any client, not necessarily just curly clients. They don't have to use frigid cold water, but they don't want to use boiling hot water either. Because we do know that when the hair is shampooed under boiling hot water, or hot water in general, the cuticle opens up, right? Which causes that dry look. Whereas if you use cooler water, it keeps the cuticle sealed. So that's why we always suggest for vivid clients like myself to shampoo in cold water, because it actually keeps the cuticle sealed and it keeps that color locked in and lasting longer. I'm actually not going to brush her hair beforehand because I find that it doesn't make a difference. It's kind of a waste of time. I can just honestly, like when her hair is wet and everything, I'll just kind of shampoo it, and then when I put the conditioner in, I do feel like it will actually be kind of not a problem to run my fingers through to get the tangles out. And I mean, if your client can, some people can handle cool water, so if they can, then go ahead, you know, do the whole shampoo with it. But right now would not be a good chance. Like if I just went in and ran my fingers through there, it would get stuck and it would be irritating. So when I go in and do the shampoo, like I said, I'm just gonna focus it at the roots. There's no reason for me to kind of do like a full shampoo all the way to her end. So I'm just kind of focusing the shampoo on my fingertips, and this is a low suds shampoo, so it's not gonna be super sudsy. That's the biggest thing when you're using curly hair products. You just need to make sure your clients are aware that it's not going to feel sudsy, and I think that's the hardest thing for them to get used to, because I think people equate like suds to being super clean, when that's not always the case. I do like the low poo from Diva Curl though, because it does give it a little bit more of a suds than some of their other shampoos and conditioner, no poos and conditioners. So I'm really just kind of doing a light shampoo. This would be a good time if she was actually in a shampoo bowl for real, to do like a nice scalp massage. Okay, so now I'm gonna rinse her super lukewarm water, because I did just color it rose gold a couple weeks ago before this whole quarantine started, because you know what? Sometimes it just is one of those things that makes you feel better, is doing your hair. So now same thing with the conditioner. I'm just kind of working it through my hands, and I'm just kind of going in underneath first. And now is when I'm gonna go in and kind of start working those curls out. And you can use a wide tooth comb if you'd like. I don't think it makes a huge difference. I always use my fingers for everything, only because that's kind of, I learned how to style curly hair from Diva Curl, and I just kind of, they didn't really show you how to use a wide tooth comb for it, so I just use my fingers for everything with curly hair. So I'm just kind of combing through the curls. So already right away, I've kind of combed throughout everything, and you can already see the curls kind of coming back to life. If you saw her before, she was very just limp and dry and frizzy, and she's been sitting in my car for a while, so she hasn't really had any TLC in a while, so she just kind of was sitting in the hot car and getting messy and all that. Now we're not going to comb her hair at all for the rest of this service, okay? Not even with your fingers or any of that. On myself, I rinse my hair upside down in the shower. You can see all that hair coming on. For myself, I kind of flip my hair over and rinse it under the shower head or the faucet like that, but obviously for a client, we can't really have them do that at the shampoo bowl, so as long as they keep their head back, that's fine. It doesn't really matter, because they will be flipping their head over later on. Okay, so now she's going to be dripping like this, and I'm not brushing it out at all at this point. So if this were a client, she would lift her head from the shampoo bowl and flip it forward for me. So I'm just lightly squeezing it out. I'm not squeezing it out with the towel yet or anything. So we need to make sure that the first thing we do is add moisture back into the hair. So I'm just going to take this leave-in conditioner. So I'm just gonna mist that all over. This is hard to do with one hand. I just make sure that the hair is fully saturated with the leave-in conditioner. And I just, again, kind of go in and squeeze any excess moisture that may be in the hair. I'm going to take a little bit of the mousse. This is a Diva Curl. I'm gonna put her between my legs here. This looks really weird. I'm going to take a couple pumps of the mousse. Mousse, whether it's for straight or curly hair, should be focused on the roots. So I'm just going to go in and add that into her roots a little bit, and then anything that's left over on my hands, then I will work in towards the rest of her hair. The last thing I'm going to do is add a gel. Again, this is another Diva Curl product. This is the Ultra Defining Gel. I'm going to emulsify the gel, and I'm just going to kind of slip it over her hair first, just like this, right? I don't know if you can see. I just kind of slip it over her hair, and then whatever's left in my hands, let me do this over the bathtub. I just am squishing into her hair. So at this point, now that all the product is in her hair, I'm going to take my microfiber towel. If this was myself, I would have it flipped over just like this. We're going to have their head flip back up. So now my client's back in my chair, right? When she sits down, I'm just going to kind of scrunch just a little bit more and see where her hair naturally wants to fall. It looks like she wants to do a side part today, which is fine. We have two options when it's time to style curly hair. So we can either let it air dry or we can dry it with the dryer. So if I choose to let her hair air dry, what I have right here is sectioning clips, little pin curl clips. If you have them in your kit, that's what they look like. So obviously at the salon, we don't have that much time to just let their hair air dry, right? So what I'm about to show you now, they can either just they can do it this way at home, or if they're in the salon, I would put them under some kind of hooded dryer. So what I'm going to do now is all the places right around her part here, I'm going to kind of pinch up and then stick the pin curl right there. So what that does is when the heat or when the air from the hood dryer is coming down and pushing the hair down, it will prevent the hair from getting too flat, because the one thing that curly people don't want is what I call Christmas tree hair, because it comes out like this, right? And that's what a lot of curly people experience, which is why they don't like to wear their hair curly sometimes, is because they think it gets too heavy at the bottom. So there's a couple ways to prevent that. Number one is the way the hair is cut, right? If their hair is all one length, it does get that Christmas tree look. However, two, just making sure that their hair is being properly styled. Kind of go all around the hair and just kind of, all I'm doing is taking my fingers like this and I'm just pinching a section of hair like this. I'm not being rough with the hair at all, right? And I'm just going in and pinching it around like that. So then I'll come to the back here, and you can already see her curls look way better than when we first started, right? So I'm gonna just pinch up this section of hair here. This does not need to be perfect at all. And it's okay if at first her hair looks a little crazy, like this piece right here. Because really we're just focused on getting her some volume right now. And these clips, if you pin them correctly, they should not leave any kind of mark in the hair. In the bang section, I kind of just come up underneath. I don't really, I'm a little bit more gentle with it, I guess, just because that's right by their face and that's the part that we want to make sure is most perfect for them. So then once this is all done, I would go ahead and stick her under the hood dryer, depending on how much time we have, at least 20 minutes on a medium to high heat setting, just so that everything can properly dry. The benefit to this method, air drying or the hood dryer, is that the curls will be the least disturbed, right? Say your client doesn't have time to sit under the hood dryer, you can diffuse it as well. So then the diffuser that I have with it, I have to bring her back a little bit. This diffuser, it is a Diva Curl diffuser, but it attaches onto, it looks like it's eating my blow dryer, but it is one of those universal diffusers. It kind of fits any dryer shape. So the thing I like about the Diva Curl diffuser is that you can get in at the root. See how it's kind of lifting my hair up a little bit without, again, like I was saying, disturbing the curl pattern. Sometimes I feel like with traditional diffusers that are like, they're kind of bowl shaped and they have the little spokes coming out of them, I never feel like they get the root that dry. With the hood dryer, like I said, it's really nice because it keeps, you know, the curl pattern like from being messed around too much. But then what happens is the heat's only coming up top, so a lot of times after the 20 or 30 minutes is up, they'll still feel like the nape of their neck is a little wet and you still have to go in with the diffuser anyway. So unless a client really has the time to sit there and let it thoroughly dry, like at their house or something, that's a good option. However, most people realistically do need to blow dry their hair. With most curly clients, I know it can be kind of uncomfortable at first, but you want to make sure that they're like flipping their head over like this in your chair. And when you're diffusing your own hair at home, usually you flip it over, right? So same thing with curly clients. No problem with having them flip over to do it like this. So if you do have a traditional diffuser, you know, like I was saying earlier with the bowl and the spokes coming out, you would come up like this. Just kind of scoop the hair up right into the diffuser. So I'm just kind of coming up like this. But the nice thing, like I said, about the Diva Curl diffuser is that because of this like hand shape, you can kind of get into the root. See how it's not disturbing my curls all too much. So let me do a couple, let me dry it for you guys here. So I was obviously struggling a little bit because I'm not at the salon and I don't have my real blow dryer. So anyway, so you can see already how much curl she has in her hair than when she did from before. And I don't think it took me that long to completely dry it, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know, I wasn't timing myself, but anyway, so now her hair is all dry, right? She's got this beautiful curl pattern. She could leave it like this, or if she wanted a little bit fuller, I do, again, have another Diva Curl product. This one's called the Beautiful Mess Curl Sculpting Pomade. You can use any pomade. So I'm just gonna take just a teeny bit, like this much, right? And what this does is just adds a little bit texture to the hair. So I'm rubbing that in my hands, and now I'm just going to go in and just kind of break up that curl pattern a little bit, because sometimes when the hair dries completely in that like cast or whatever, it can get a little flat. So we just need to make sure that we're kind of going in there. And I just like scrunch it a little bit. If this was a real client, I would maybe have her flip her head over and shake it out. That's what I do with my own hair. If her hair was a little dry, you could spray on like some kind of shine serum, or you could maybe just run a little oil through your hair and scrunch, or run a little bit of oil on your hands and scrunch that through your hair as well. But this is the final product. Huge difference from when I first started. Her curls were super limp and flat. So Again, like I said earlier, it's extremely, extremely important that we learn how to style curly hair, because a lot of curly clients have a hard time finding a stylist who can do their hair right or whatever. So that is a whole nother, like, you know, group of people you can open up your book to, which is really awesome. This is really good too for male clients as well. I know that perms are really coming in right now. I did do a perm on a guy a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I can't remember, I'm losing track of time. And you know, I kind of walked him through similar steps. May not be as lengthy of a process, but we can still offer those tips and tricks to our clients as well. It is our job to make sure that clients know how to style their hair at home and achieve the same results, right? We have to teach them. So with curly clients too, maybe your client is someone like me, for example, who always just assumed they had frizzy hair and had to dry it and straighten it to reduce the frizz, but you notice when you're cutting their hair, they have a slight wave in the back. Maybe for one of their haircuts when they come in, you can say to them, hey, like, let's try styling your hair naturally. And from there, you just opened a whole new door of styling options for them. You know, they didn't know they had textured before, so now you've shown them this routine, and they can see like, oh yeah, you know, I do have some texture to my hair. You know, and then you offer that to them, and then you say like, hey, you know, now you don't have to put heat on your hair all the time, and then they'll love you because you saved their hair, right? So, if you guys have any questions, of course you can text me, and I'll help walk you through anything, but this is how I style curly hair. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy during this quarantine. I'm very excited for it to be over so I can see everybody's cute faces again. But, yeah.